My name's Erik, and our Instagram is Go2Explore, XPLR, and we built this rig here about 2 years ago, working with AT Overland to build the bed and box system for us, and the camper is a 2017 Hawk model from 4-wheel campers here in Woodland. Come on in, let's have a look on the inside if you want. So, on the flatbed model, queen size bed on top, plenty of room. You can configure these for a king size bed so you can sleep front to back. We still like each other, so the queen size is plenty big for us. We've got the 2 vents, fans, so we can cycle air real easily through here. Plenty of ventilation. It's powered by 160 watts of solar, 2 6-volt, 230 amp hour batteries in tandem. Plenty of power. 130 liter isotherm refrigerator, 7,500 BTU furnace. Got 20 gallons of fresh water, 5 gallons hot water tank. The 2-burner stove. We opted for the Atwood. This is the older style versus the flush mounts that you see in a lot of the newer ones. We just didn't like the flush mount for us. We wanted to actually have a sink that we could really be able to get pots and stuff into, was the main thing.
Something deeper.
Exactly, something deeper. The thing that my wife is the most happy with is the toilet.
Yes.
The Cassette toilet.
Yes.
She's most happy about that. So it's got about a 4-gallon, black water capacity to it. So it makes it nice when it's cold out.
How do you dump?
The Cassette comes out the side.
I mean, like where?
You can dump in, technically you can dump in any restroom, because none of the materials and products that are used in it are toxic. You can dump it into a porta potty, into pit toilets at the campgrounds, the vault toilets. Anywhere that human refuse can go, you can dump it there. For gray water, we just use a 5-gallon bucket and then pour that out in an appropriate location. If we're boondocking, because we use biodegradable soaps and whatnot, we can just let it go on the ground for the most part. Yeah. And then we've got the outdoor shower.
Oh, okay.
The nice thing, I can show you that on the outside.
Okay,
the nice thing about these is the amount of storage space in the flatbed models. There's storage beneath the beds. I mean, it's pretty big space down there. A lot of room on both sides for that. And the dinette area turns into another bed. We can sleep one there if need be. And there's a ton of storage beneath the bed. So most all of our clothing is down there. We'll keep some quick, easy, basic kitchen items that we need easy access to up on top. Yeah, small freezer. Like I said, it's 130 liter. So we can outfit this thing easily for several weeks worth of food. I mean, you get a little bit more judicious in what space you use and what you put in there. I mean, we'll keep a lot of cold drinks and whatnot and just put what we need in there. So if we are really storing it for just food, we reorganize how we have it. But from a perishable standpoint, easily keep 3 weeks or more worth of food in there. Because most of the food that we're using is the dry stuff, so we keep just the basic necessities of things like butter and creams and milk and things like that that you have to, and vegetables that we have to keep refrigerated, but we can easily contain for that period of time or longer if we need to. We just be a little more careful with our choices and selections. Yeah. The furnace system is like I said, 7,500 BTU. Forced air propane furnace. That's
thermostat come with it?
Thermostat comes with it. The water pump tank gauges for both electric and the water levels. A fair amount of storage beneath here. Like this is the whole kitchen kit, so the whole pot systems, plates, cups, and extra storage beneath there. This is access down to the hot water heater, which is a little tough to see down in there, but 5-gallon hot water.
So you have 5 gallons of hot water.
20 gallons of fresh water. This is the whole control systems for all of the electricals. Circuit breaker for shore power. The main converter from shore power. the battery relay, all the fuse systems. They've done a beautiful job on the routing of the wiring and how clean and organized it is. I had this thing, like I said, for a little over 2.5 years now, and used it extensively. We probably have, in that period of time, about 150 nights within it over the last 2 years, and no issues. The company's been really great to deal with, to work with. Here's the story. So the only thing that I had to do is when we first picked up the camper from the dealer that we worked with, we'd expect it to have 2 vent fans, or one vent fan, super fan, or a fantastic fan, and the other one was just supposed to be a vent. When we picked it up, it actually only had one. They hadn't installed the other one, and that was under the shop in Flagstaff. So I called these guys up and said, hey, we missed one of the fans. He said, hey, no problem. You know, when you have some time, bring it down. I said, well, actually, I'm coming through in 3 days. Can I bring it in? Like, no problem. Met the service manager, Aaron, here, talked to him about what I needed to have done, and asked him, hey, you know, could we potentially upgrade it to another fan instead? No problem. Took care of me in and out within an hour. Did a beautiful job on the installation. They've been very, very good with me as a customer, and in my experience with any other customers in the company that are working with them, they're very helpful. They take ideas and suggestions for things that we've encountered. One of the things that, as an example, very minor thing, but this edge trim that they have on here, this is a wear area. You run into it and bump into it a whole lot. And so this was chipping off. And I said, hey, have you guys thought about finding and working with some other kind of a protection or buffer for this? And he said, oh, let me see what we can find. Sure enough, Aaron called me back and said, hey, come in, I'll send you a piece of this stuff. And they sent me this rub rail, and now I think they're using this as a production item. Little things, if you encounter them that you want to change or recommendations, they work with you, and they'll take those and then they incorporate them. This has the Arctic pack in it, so this is the secondary insulation panels. So what that does is it adds an airspace between the vinyl siding and then the interior, so that in the winter time or when it's cold, actually both cold and hot days, it adds an extra air barrier in between that is very effective for temperature regulation. Both on cold days it keeps it warmer, on hot days it actually keeps it a little bit cooler. So we leave the Arctic pack in all the time. It does help manage condensation. Condensation in any of these kinds of campers are an issue because respiration, you're exhaling. When it's cold outside, the temperature differentiation, you will get condensation in these. But that's true of any camper. Any hard side camper will have that, pop-ups as well. So it's just like in a tent, quite frankly. It's not horrible. We manage it by making sure that we keep it vented. You'll get a little bit of moisture condensation in here, but it's not a problem. We've been down into the teens, 14, 12, and so up in Montana in the wintertime when we've been up there, and it's been pretty comfortable. We'll get the inside temperature up in the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, easily. The heater will cycle quite frequently and run throughout the night. But again, no problem with battery management and the consumption of propane. It's worked really, really well.
And you have solar?
We do.
Up on top.
Up on top, 160 watt single panel. We're probably going to upgrade that to another 160 watts, so total of 320. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a fixed panel or if I'll do a portable. Some areas, if you're camped in the trees, right, you're shaded or whatnot, with the portable panel we can get it out some distance and be a little bit more efficient than that. But it's a little bit of a pain, then you have to have somewhere to store it and whatnot. But we're fortunate, or actually a little spoiled is the right way to put it, in the flatbed, in that we have a lot of space to store things. So along the back, right, onto the jacks, we built a frame rack in order to be able to carry 5 gallons extra fuel, 5 gallons extra water, and we can configure that depending on what our needs are. You take 10 gallons of water, 10 gallons of fuel, max traction devices for when we get stuck, we've used it frequently in sand areas. We don't have anything to pull from with a winch, so those traction devices have worked really, really great. This is our exterior garbage and a recycle storage. These bags are from Blue Ridge Overland Gear. They're a great manufacturer as far as outdoor products for these kinds of rigs, for both organization these are their tire bags, and we use them for going into camp. We'll carry wood in them for campfires, and on the way back out, all of our garbage and recycle goes out there with us. Most of the time we're taking more material back from other people that have left it out there, because not everyone is as good of a steward of the land, and we want to make sure that our sites are cleaned up. We want to keep going back and having these sites available to us, so making sure that our camps are cleaner than when we found them is a real important thing for us.
So how does that work when you're in bear country? Do you store the refuse inside and then you just put it when you're leaving?
In bear country, it's a whole different ball game in the way that we manage both our cooking and our kitchen setups. When we're in bear country, before we know that we're going to be, we'll clean the interior out, and we actually don't cook inside. We'll cook outside, and oftentimes we won't cook in camp. We'll stop someplace earlier in the day. That's where we'll stop and make our meal, so that we don't have the residual, try to minimize the amount of residual food smells that we have in and around the camper. I mean, it's tough, but we have the dogs, so that kind of helps deter things a little bit. But our sanitation and cleanliness is monitored much more so when we're in bear country. So to that point, yeah, we'll keep it on the inside until we travel, and then we'll put it on the outside.
Okay.
The exterior shower on these, the port's right here. Carry the wand in a little bag. Now we're fortunate a lot of the times, because we're boondocking, we're not exactly modest, and we don't have our neighbors to worry about or scare. So we don't carry an enclosure, generally speaking. But it gets a nice little flow, and you can regulate the temperature anywhere from cool all the way up to hot, and works out real nice. As far as the exterior storage goes, keep our leveling blocks, jack in there, coveralls when we have to work. This has all my extra fluids, air tools like airline, tire repair kit, air chucks, air hoses, jumper cables. This side stores a full-size 37-inch spare tire. We manage our hoses, water intake hose. I mean, if you have shore water or domestic water supply, you can plumb that right in here. This is the water tank fill. If you have shore power, 30 amp input for the 110 volt water drain. So there's a considerable amount of storage in the cross boxes. We wanted to make sure that, because we do a considerable amount off-road and in very remote locations, that having our own self-recovery capability was very important to us, in more of an insurance standpoint than anything else. We make sure that the truck, both front and rear, has solid recovery points that are all tied directly into the frame. 16,000-pound winches, Warren winches, front and rear. The bumper's made by Buckstop. Suspension on this truck, this is a 2002, so it's an all-leaf sprung suspension. We did modify the suspension both for our purposes of how we drive and where we drive, and to support the extra weight of the truck. Total weight of the truck as it sits is 11,600 pounds, so she's not light at all. Atlas suspensions down in Industry, City of Industry, California, custom built the spring packs for us. We've got King 2.5-inch piggyback shocks all the way around. The ride on this thing is immaculate. We were talking about recovery points in the rear. We've got shackle tabs here, and these are integrated and welded back into the frame, directly into the frame mount points. So they're very, very solid. Again, Warren 15,000 pound winch, and I don't have it good to demonstrate that I didn't bring the high lift jack, but we also had them integrate a high lift jack point into the bumper. This grabs that plate for the high lift from a lifting point, and I can lift the whole truck on either corner and get the wheel off the ground with the jack. It's extreme, more than we really need to, but it has the capability to do it. The cassette toilet, and that's right here. This cassette just lifts and slides right out, and then you could take it someplace and dump it. It's sealed, it's contained, you're separated entirely from any of the waste, which is nice. But it's just a real simple system to both maintain. We've got two 10-pound or 10-gallon propanes tanks right in there, and this is access to the battery port. The awnings, the factory Fiamma awning, and we added to the jack points, we added some tabs so that we can use the down poles instead of having to set them down on the ground.
So you added that?
We added that, yeah. We have right here. Our outdoor kitchen sets in here, so we've got four chairs that sit in here, snow peak table, a barbecue in there. This is a grill system, and then if we want to, when we're cooking out here, again, this is from Blue Ridge Overland gear. This is a little kitchen bag, keeps all of our stuff organized and right at hand, easy for us to get to.